They seated me in the kitchen at my own brother's wedding while the men at the head table toasted a $75 million deal based on my software. No one knew I was the CEO yet. So I stood up, walked across the room, and calmly said, "Cancel the contract." Effective immediately. That was the moment everything changed. If you've ever been underestimated by your own family, this story is for you. The cream-colored envelope, which was embossed with gold lettering and likely cost more than my weekly shopping budget, felt heavy in my hands. I was aware that it contained an invitation to my sister's engagement celebration. I was surprised to find my own address listed as the location. I'm Sloane, the daughter my parents would rather keep a secret from at their country club breakfasts. The challenging one. The person who decided to pursue interior design instead of law school. Instead of marrying my father's golf buddy's son, she chose to purchase her own house. "We just had to use your place, darling." Only a few hours after the invitation arrived, my mother's voice crackled through the speaker on my phone. "It's perfect for Delaney's special day. The modern architecture, those floor-to-ceiling windows, and that view of the city. Everyone's been dying to see inside since your father mentioned our family property at the charity gala." I touched my temples with my fingertips. "Mom, this isn't a family property. I bought this house with my money from my business." She sighed and said, "Oh, don't start with that again. We're all family here and families share. Besides, Delaney's already told all her friends. You wouldn't want to embarrass her, would you?" I almost laughed when she put it that way, that little twist of the knife. "Nearly. When exactly were you planning to ask me about this?" I spoke in a steady business-like tone. I employ the same tone while dealing with challenging clients. "Ask you, sweetheart? You're being dramatic again. This is your sister's engagement to Roman Garrett. His family practically owns half the city's real estate developments." I poured a large glass of wine as I made my way to my meticulously planned kitchen, complete with a waterfall marble island and brass fixtures that I had personally chosen. "Put Delaney on the phone. She's busy with the florist right now, planning the arrangements for your living room. She's thinking white roses everywhere. It'll be just gorgeous. My living room. My personal area. My haven. The one I'd made after years of work, savings, and self-assertion. And now once more it was being offered up as a party location without my permission." She interrupted, "Mom, oh, speaking of the living room. We'll need you to move that awful abstract painting. The red one. It won't photograph well with the roses. And we're thinking of rearranging the furniture to create better flow for the caterers." As I sipped my wine, I thought back to the day I purchased that painting. After obtaining a big client contract, it was my first significant buy. The artist was a local woman who used her art to rebuild her life after fleeing an abusive marriage. Something deep within me was evoked by the striking red strokes, a sense of liberation and space reclamation. I said, "I have to go. I have a client meeting." "Perfect. While you're out, I'll have the party planner stop by to take measurements." I gave her the spare key you left with us for emergencies. I was about to kiss the wine glass when it froze. "You what?" "Don't worry, she's very professional. Top-rated in the city." Now about the guest list, we're looking at around 200 people. The Garretts have quite the social circle, and your father insisted we invite all the partners from his firm. After putting down my glass, I went to my home office and opened my laptop. Almost instantly, my buddy Harper's face came into view. "Hey girl, what's the oh no? What happened? You've got that look." I held out the invitation and said, "They're doing it again. Only bigger this time. They're throwing Delaney's engagement party here. Already sent out invitations. Already gave out my spare key. Already planning to redecorate my house." Harper's gaze expanded. "Without asking you? That's next level even for them." I chuckled, but my laugh was insincere. You know what the worst part is? I'm not even surprised. This is what they do. They take and act like they're doing me a favor by including me in their perfect family narrative. As long as I stay quiet and play along. "So don't play along this time," Harper remarked plainly. I started to say why I was unable to do it. Why the drama would be too much. The standard justifications for why the fallout wasn't worth it. But I was halted by something. Perhaps I was still being taunted by the invitation from my desk. Perhaps it was the recollection of all the countless times they had taken my life, my accomplishments, and my space as their own. "You know what?" I asked softly as a strategy started to take shape in my head. "Maybe you're right. Maybe it's time to change the game." I put "real estate agents near me" into a new tab on my browser. The following morning, it felt strange to go around my house. Every room evoked memories of conversations that went deeper than anybody could see and of parties I never wanted to have. In the dining room, I paused and ran my fingers over the table where, only a month ago, my mother had held court. Over $200 worth of wine, she had asked her friends, "Did you hear? Sloane's latest client is that tech startup downtown, the one that just went public." She had smiled proudly at the reflection of her achievement that she could claim, not at me. We always knew she'd do well, even with her unconventional choices. It buzzed on my phone. Talk about the devil's sweetheart. The caterers must be aware of how your kitchen is set up. Do you own 2 ovens? Delaney is also curious in the powder room. The lighting in the mirror isn't flattering enough for pictures, she claims. Without replying, I erased the message and gave Harper a call. When she answered, I replied, "I'm listing the house." After a moment, someone said, "Holly, you're actually doing it? Wait, are you sure? This is your dream house." I went to the windows in the living room and gazed at the skyline of the city. It was my dream. Now it's their stage set. Every time I walk in here, I see their fingerprints everywhere. The parties, the comments, the constant invasion. Harper said, "Remember last Christmas? When your mom got rid of everything in your kitchen because, quote, no one can find anything in here. And then complained about my cheap wine glasses to everyone at dinner," I continued. "The ones I bought in Venice during my first solo trip abroad. The trip they said would ruin your career." Instead, I grinned at the thought of meeting that Italian furniture designer who ended up becoming my greatest client. Naturally, they claimed credit for that relationship as well, telling everyone at the country club that they had introduced us. When my phone buzzed again, it was Delaney. "Don't be difficult, Cammy. This is my engagement party. Can't you just be happy for me for once? Mom claims you're not replying regarding the catering arrangement." I typed back, "I'll review the kitchen requirements later. I'm working with a customer." Immediately, 3 dots emerged. "That's exactly like you, always prioritizing your work. It must be pleasant to only have your career to worry about. Some of us have real relationships to keep up." Though not as much as it once did, the message still hurt. Since I had purchased the house 3 years prior, property values had risen dramatically, so I opened my laptop and looked up local real estate listings to analyze market prices. What's the worst about it? They've never once inquired about how I paid for this place, about the late nights I spent creating other people's ideal houses while saving for my own, I added to Harper, who was still on the line. About the risks I took when I first started my own business. Harper quietly remarked, "Because that would mean acknowledging you did it without them." My mother was standing there with what looked like a party planner already pointing at my front yard when my doorbell rang, and I looked at the security camera. They're present. I never granted authorization to use the spare key. Harper hurriedly urged, "Don't answer, let them believe you're at work." Their voices drifted up from downstairs, and I saw through the webcam as my mother used the key, guiding the planner inside as if she owned the property. Obviously, a thorough rearrangement of the furnishings will be required. My daughter's taste is unusual. We can work with it though. The quality of the space photos is crucial. I rapidly typed while I opened my email and turned down the sound on my security system. "Greetings, Mr. Jordan." Harper said, "I'm interested in talking about the possibility of selling my house after seeing your real estate listings online. The property is located at, what are you going to do about the party?" I grinned when I sent the email. "Nothing yet. Let them plan their perfect event. Let them send out invitations, hire their caterers, pick their flowers. Let them think everything is going exactly as they planned. You're scary when you're plotting. You know that. I learned from the best. My family's been orchestrating social takedowns for years. I went to my home office and started gathering essential papers. They simply didn't believe I was listening." Another buzzing sound came from my phone. My father texted me. "According to your mother, you're not cooperating with the party planning. Keep in mind that we are all affected by this. Don't make the family look bad." I saved the message to a folder I called receipts after taking a screenshot of it. I then blocked off the following 3 weeks on my calendar. I didn't have much time and I had a lot to do. I said, "Hey, Evan," while continuing to gaze at my father's letter. "Cancel our brunch plans next weekend. I think I'm going house hunting instead." As one might anticipate from a high-end real estate agent, Maddox Hale's office was a haven of glass and chrome and meticulously designed success. However, as I described my circumstances, there was an air of sincerity in the way he listened. Using his tablet to take notes, he asked, "So you want to sell quickly but quietly? And timing is important." "Very." I showed him the invitation to the engagement celebration on my phone. The house needs to be sold before this date. After examining the invitation, he turned to face me with renewed curiosity. That's your address for now. And the party planners currently redecorating your home don't know you're selling, correct? With a little smile on his lips, he reclined in his chair. There's a story here. There's always a story. I opened my portfolio after taking out my laptop. But what matters is that the house is mine, free and clear. I can prove every payment came from my business account. I have all the documentation ready. It buzzed on my phone. Delaney wants more. The florist must know whether the walls in your living room are eggshell or cream. This is significant. I choose to ignore it and concentrate on Maddox. How fast can we move with property values in your area? He retrieved a few similar listings. Very fast. Especially if you're willing to consider private offers. Less publicity that way. Perfect. Though I should warn you, he said, once we list even privately, word tends to get around in certain circles. My father's golf club pals sprang to mind. The charity committee of my mother. All of the social networks they had developed over many years. Let's keep it quiet as long as we can. But if it leaks? I laughed. Well, that's not my problem. One more buzz. This time, my mom. On Thursday, the caterers will arrive to inspect the kitchen's design. To let them in, make sure you're at home. Maddox saw me turn off my phone. Family can be complicated. Family can be toxic, I fixed. Sometimes the healthiest thing is to walk away. Slowly he nodded. I had a client last year. Similar situation. His parents had been using his vacation home as their personal hotel for years. Never asked, just expected. He sold it and bought a small cabin in Montana. Said it was the most peaceful he'd ever felt. I pondered. Montana sounds nice, but I'm not running away. I'm just reclaiming my space. Even if that means finding a new one. My phone came back to life. A note from my sister's fiancé, Roman. Delaney is angry that you aren't helping her out more with the party preparation. Would you please attempt to be more encouraging? This holds great significance for both of our families. Maddox saw my look. How many people are involved in this party planning? Too many. I opened my calendar. Can we schedule some viewings for next week? I want to have options lined up before we list. He answered, of course, and began typing. Any particular areas you're interested in? Somewhere they'd never think to look. I stopped. And maybe something a little less showcase-worthy. I'm tired of living in a museum. He grinned. He looked at my laptop's open portfolio and said, I might have just the place. It's not even on the market yet. Older building, great bones, incredible view. Needs some work, but something tells me you'd know what to do with it. Again, my phone buzzed. The party planner's message. I was given permission by your mother to install a flower wall for pictures in place of the artwork in the living room. Your items will be securely stored by the movers until the event is over. I presented the message to Maddox. How quickly can you get photographers here? Tomorrow morning. We can have the listing ready by the end of the week. He looked closely at me. You're absolutely sure about this? I reflected on all the occasions I had made concessions. I would allow them to cross every boundary. All the ways they had dismissed my decisions and claimed my achievement. Listed, I firmly responded. And Maddox priced it to sell fast. He pulled up the documentation and nodded. Just one more question. When the offers start coming in, how do you want to handle the showings given the current situation? I grinned as I considered my sister's photo op arrangements, my mother's well-planned watching party, and all of their painstaking preparations for the ideal occasion. Let's schedule them all for times they think I'm at work, I replied. I've learned from experience, sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. Maddox's eyebrows went up. Sounds like there's a story there too. There is. With a flourish, I signed the listing agreement. But they won't know it until it's too late. I own my own firm, Dad. I'm not looking for in-house positions. Speaking of Roman, Delaney said, his mother called today. Their friends are so excited to see the house. Everyone's been talking about it since we announced the party venue. My mom smiled. The Garretts have such excellent taste. Thank goodness we're updating a few things before the party. Those modern pieces of yours, Sloan, they're interesting, but not quite right for such an important event. A piece of asparagus was stabbed by me. Those pieces were featured in Design Monthly last year. My father remarked, oh yes, your little magazine article, with a contemptuous tone. You know what would be really impressive? If you'd focused on building a family instead of just a portfolio. Delaney understands the importance of balance. Delaney played the part. Roman and I are already talking about children. We want at least 3. My mom responded, wonderful, and clasped her hands together. And you'll have such a support system. Not like poor Sloane, all alone in that big house. Silently, I'm not alone, I said. I have friends. A successful business. A life I built myself. Friends aren't family, sweetheart. My mom came over to give me a hand pat. You know we worry about you. All that independence isn't natural for a woman your age. It buzzed on my phone. Maddox texted. The initial offer was received. Above and beyond asking. Do you want to review tomorrow? Delaney asked, attempting to glance at my screen. Who's that? Don't tell me you're working during family dinner. I put the telephone away. Just a client. Always clients. You know, my dad said, the Patterson's son just made partner at his law firm. Still single. Very stable. I'm not interested in the Patterson's son. Of course not, responded my mom. You're not interested in anyone we suggest. Sometimes I think you enjoy being difficult. Being different from what you want isn't the same as being difficult. There was an awkward silence across the table. My dad cleared his throat. About the party, according to him. We'll need you to clear out the garage for valet parking, and the caterers want to set up in your office. Better flow to the garden that way. I put down my fork and asked my office. Where I work. Don't be selfish, Cammy, Delaney urged. This is my engagement party. The biggest day of my life. Well, until the wedding, she continued. Which, by the way, we're thinking of having in your backyard. The landscaping is perfect for a spring ceremony. Once more, my phone buzzed. Maddox, we just received a second offer. Higher still. Mom insisted. Who keeps texting you? It's rude to keep checking your phone. I got to my feet. I need to use the bathroom. I leaned against the wall in the corridor and took a big breath. The hallway was lined with pictures of Delaney's debutante ball, graduations, and her first job at our father's friend's business. The lone picture of myself was taken at a charity banquet last year, where I gave my creative skills as a donation. Everyone was informed by my mother that it was a donation from the family. Once more, my phone buzzed. Harper, how's the demon's supper going? They are currently organizing Delaney's wedding in my lawn, I texted back. Fortunately, I will have long since left by then. Are you all right? I turned to face my image in the hallway mirror. It was the first time in years that I felt truly fine. Every disparaging remark, every boundary breach, every manipulation, all of it only made me more determined. I said better than okay. I'm finished. My mother was showing me paint samples for the walls of my living room when I got back to the table. She was saying the current color won't work with the party theme. Next week, we'll have it repainted. Not too daring. We want the pictures to appear classic. I grabbed my glass of wine and drained it. You know what? You can paint it any color you like. They all gave me startled looks. Really? Delaney let out a squeal. You see? I had faith that you would change. As I considered the signed listing agreement in my luggage, I grinned. Think of it as my engagement present to you. What is the purpose of family after all? I sent Maddox an email later that evening. Take the best offer. We should close as quickly as possible. I then activated the camera on my phone. As I entered the dining room, I commented, and this is the dining set that my mother insisted would elevate my taste level. The one she claimed to have purchased for me as a housewarming present. I panned across the tasteful seats and table. I actually bought it, from a little craftsman in Barcelona. This folder contains the receipts as well as every other item they have attempted to claim. For the past week, I had been keeping a record of everything. Evidence in part. Therapy in part. It served as a partial reminder of my motivation. I went on, the movers are coming tomorrow as I pass my soon-to-be defunct house. Everything that matters is already stored. Everything they deem significant. I gave the camera a smile. Well, that's staying right here for their perfect party. Harper texted me on my phone, asking for assistance with the final boxes. Please, I said. Bring some wine. 20 minutes later, she showed up with 2 bottles in what she described as her stealth moving clothes, which were all black and made it look like we were robbing someone. As she surveyed the meticulously arranged chambers, she said, so, this is really happening? You're actually going through with it. Already signed the closing papers. I gave a glass to her. New owners take possession next week. And your family still has no idea? I played her my mother's most recent voicemail, which said, Darling, the painters will be in on Monday to finish the living room. Be sure to be present to grant them entry and take action against that terrible contemporary chandelier. It's disrupting the overall style that we're aiming for. I raised my glass to the chandelier, which I had spent 3 months custom designing. It was more expensive than Delaney's engagement band. However, they believe it to be a mass market. Evangeline assisted me in packing the remainder of my personal belongings, including pictures, papers, and little mementos that held special meaning for me. Everything else would remain in place, meticulously set up to keep the illusion going until the right time. She continued, "Your video diary is going to go viral, you know," as she wrapped a hand-blown glass vase with care. "Rich family drama always does." "That's not why I'm recording it," I replied. Then stopped thinking. Well, not totally. All I need is proof, especially for myself, that I'm not insane. That all of this actually occurred. It buzzed on my phone. Delaney once more, in order to position the tent in the garden, the wedding planner must measure it. "Could you please email your gate code to me?" Harper read the message over my shoulder and replied, "You're not crazy." They are. Disregarding the instructions, I launched my laptop and accessed the security camera feeds. Every unauthorized access, every presumed rearrangement, and every casual infringement of my personal space were now being recorded by the house's continuous surveillance. I played a video from yesterday, showing my mother and the party planners striding through my house as if they owned it. "Look at this," I said. "They spent 3 hours rearranging my furniture, critiquing my art, planning how to fix everything that makes this place mine." "Ex-place," said Harper gently. "You no longer reside here." "Not at all." She was correct. A storage container across town already contained the majority of my existence. Tomorrow, the remainder would be gone. The only things left were the pricey shells my family had forced upon me, the right artwork, the right furnishings, and the right decor. My phone rang once more. Maddox sent everyone the following message: "Tomorrow at 9 a.m., we will have our final walkthrough with the new owners. Is it still okay to keep quiet?" "Confirmed," I replied by typing. No indications. Not a word. Not quite yet. My father texted me again saying the Garretts would like to have a private tour of the house prior to the celebration. "Your mom will take care of it. You don't have to change your plans." "Of course not," I answered in a whisper. "Why would I need to be involved in showing my own house?" "Hey," Harper murmured. "You okay?" I glanced at the empty shelves where my books used to be, the blank walls where my favorite pictures used to hang, and the areas I had been gradually removing myself from. When I said, "I'm better than okay," I meant it. I'm free. It was the last time my phone lit up. "I just noticed a moving truck outside your place," said a neighbor. "Is everything okay?" I grinned as I considered all of the party invites with my address that were lying in people's houses all around the city. Regarding the photographers, caterers, and florists who are all expected to get here in 8 days. About the meticulously planned social gathering that my family has planned. "Everything's fine," I responded to the SMS. "Just doing some redecorating." "Glass up," Evangeline said. "To redecorating." After clinking my glass on hers, I resumed using my phone's camera to capture one last moment for my journal. 8 days until the engagement party of the season. 7 days until the new owners get their keys. Timing is everything. And just once. I grinned right into the camera. I'm the one calling the shots. I could see my security app perfectly from where I sat on the rooftop cafe across town. Outside my old property, which was officially taken over by a new owner yesterday, there was already a line of luxury cars. It had been 3:47 p.m. The engagement celebration was set for 4 o'clock. "They're early," Harper remarked as she looked at the screen of my phone. "Rich people never are early," I answered. "They are when they're trying to one-up each other." I enlarged the camera stream. "Look, there's my mother in her signature red dress, already practicing her hostess smile." She was seen in the video reaching for the extra key that was concealed in the porch planter, the key that I had purposefully put there after changing all the locks. When the key failed, her self-assured smile wavered. I whispered, "And here we go," as I sipped my latte. My phone began buzzing right away. My mother said, "Sloan, the key isn't working first." "Where are you?" Delaney then said, "OMG. Why is there no one present to set up?" "The caterers are standing by." My father then said, "Call right away." "An emergency." After putting my phone on silent, I kept watching the feed. The audience was becoming larger. Men in fitted suits and women in fancy gowns huddled together on the pavement, their bewilderment evolving into worry. At the curb, the catering van sat idle. The truck belonging to the florist was double-parked. "Oh my God," Harper said with a giggle while gesturing toward the TV. "Is that Roman's mother trying to peek through the windows?" Yes, it was. My mother was behind her, frantically dialing her phone and making sorry gestures to the throng of people. Near the garage, the party planner seemed to be having a breakdown. A neighbor texted me, "There's quite a scene at your house," and my phone glowed. "Is everything all right? Did you see someone put a sold sign in your yard?" was the next question. I went to my feed on social media. In local circles, the hashtag Delgado party fail was already popular. A picture of my mother fighting with the caterers was shared online with the description, "When the hostess can't get into her own venue." Harper said, "Your sister is going to kill you," yet she was smiling. Bold of you to assume she'll ever speak to me again. My voicemail was rapidly growing. I put one on the speaker. "This is your mother, Camellia. You're making the whole family look foolish, and I have no idea what game you're playing. Here are the Garretts. Here are the partners from your father's firm. Everyone is present except for you. That sign in the yard too. Give me a call back right now." Delaney was the next to cry. "How could you have ruined my precious day like this? Although I understood your jealousy, this is plain rude." Then in a chilly tone, my father said, "You've made your point. Now make this right." Right away, I returned my attention to the security feed. As invited visitors mingled with interested neighbors, the throng had gotten even bigger. The sold sign was being photographed. My mother's flawless hostess mask was completely flaking off, and she had gone from panic to rage. "Should we go?" Harper inquired. "Before they figure out where you are." "Not yet." I started typing in my email after opening it. To Delaney, Mom, and Dad. The house is no longer available for your party, wedding, or any other events you plan without consulting me, as you have undoubtedly realized by now. Today, the new owners move in. Before making any alterations to the residence, the charming couple sought authorization. Consider that. Every illegal entry you've made in the last few weeks is documented by me. Each time you unapprovedly utilized the emergency key. You planned every modification without first consulting me. Every message in which you gaslight my worries and disregarded my boundaries. To be clear about who owned the property and who had the authority to make choices about it, I'm sending copies to the family lawyer. You're actually going through with it. Already signed the closing papers. I gave a glass to Harper. New owners take possession next week. And your family still has no idea? I played her my mother's most recent voicemail. "Darling, the living room will be painted by the painters on Monday. In addition to letting them in, make sure you take action regarding that terrible modern chandelier. It's disrupting the entire look we're aiming for." "The chandelier I spent 3 months custom designing," I said, lifting my glass in the air. It was more expensive than Delaney's engagement band. However, they believe it to be a mass market. Harper assisted me in packing the last of my personal belongings, including pictures, papers, and little mementos that held special meaning for me. Everything else would remain in place, meticulously set up to keep the illusion going until the right time. "Your video diary is going to go viral," she commented as she wrapped a hand-blown glass vase with care. "Rich family drama always does. That's not why I'm recording it." I stopped thinking. Well, not totally. All I need is evidence. Mostly for myself. That I'm not insane. That all of this actually occurred. It buzzed on my phone. "Delaney wants more. In order to position the tent in the garden, the wedding planner must measure it. Could you please email your gate code to me?" Harper read the message over my shoulder and replied, "You're not crazy." They are. Disregarding the instructions, I launched my laptop and accessed the security camera feeds. Every unauthorized access, every presumed rearrangement, and every casual infringement of my personal space were now being recorded by the house's continuous surveillance. I played a video from yesterday, showing my mother and the party planner striding through my house as if they owned it. "Look at this," I said. "They spent 3 hours rearranging my furniture, critiquing my art, planning how to fix everything that makes this place mine." "Ex-place," said Harper gently. "You no longer reside here." "Not at all." She was correct. A storage container across town already contained the majority of my existence. Tomorrow, the remainder would be gone. The only things left were the pricey shells my family had forced upon me, the right artwork, the right furnishings, and the right decor. My phone rang once more. Maddox sent everyone the following message. "Tomorrow at 9 a.m., we will have our final walkthrough with the new owners. Is it still okay to keep quiet?" "Confirmed," I replied by typing. No indications. Not a word. Not quite yet. My father texted me again saying the Garretts would like to have a private tour of the house prior to the celebration. "Your mom will take care of it. You don't have to change your plans." "Of course not," I answered in a whisper. Why would I need to be involved in showing my own house? Hey, Harper murmured. You okay? I glanced at the empty shelves where my books used to be, the blank walls where my favorite pictures used to hang, and the areas I had been gradually removing myself from. When I said, I'm better than okay, I meant it. I'm free. It was the last time my phone lit up. I just noticed a moving truck outside your place, said a neighbor. Is everything okay? I grinned as I considered all of the party invites with my address that were lying in people's houses all around the city. Regarding the photographers, caterers, and florists who are all expected to get here in 8 days. About the meticulously planned social gathering that my family has planned. Everything's fine, I responded to the SMS. Just doing some redecorating. According to Harper, to redecorating, she raised her glass. I moved to my phone's camera and pressed record after clinking mine against hers. The season's biggest engagement party is in 8 days. The new owners will receive their keys in 7 days. It's all about timing. I grinned right into the camera. And for once, I'm the one calling the shots. I was sitting in a rooftop cafe across town, and I could see my security app clearly. Outside my old property, which was officially taken over by a new owner yesterday, there was already a line of luxury cars. It had been 3:47 p.m. The engagement celebration was set for 4 o'clock. They're early, Harper remarked as she looked at the screen of my phone. Those who are wealthy are never early. Simply put, they are excited when there is a crowd. I enlarged the camera stream. Look, there's my mother in her signature red dress, already practicing her hostess smile. She was seen in the video reaching for the extra key that I had left in the porch planter after I had changed the locks. When the key failed, her self-assured smile wavered. I whispered, and here we go, as I sipped my latte. My phone began buzzing right away. My mother said, Sloan, the key isn't working first. Where are you? Delaney then said, OMG. Why is there no one present to set up? The caterers are ready to go. Next, my dad. Make a call right now. An emergency. I put my phone on silent and saw the mayhem. The audience was becoming larger. Designer gowns. Outfits that are tailored. Muttering in confusion. The catering wagon did nothing. The truck belonging to the florist was double parked. Oh my God, laughed Harper. Is that Roman's mother trying to peek through the windows? Yes, it was. With furious gestures, my mother phoned her phone urgently. Near the garage, the party planner was in complete disarray. The texts came in. Your place is quite the scene. Is everything all right? Did someone just put a sold sign in your yard? The hashtag Delgado party fail was already popular on social media. A picture of my mother fighting with the caterers was shared online with the description, when the hostess can't get into her own venue. Harper declared, your sister is going to kill you. Bold of you to assume she'll ever speak to me again. I left a message on the speaker. This is your mother, Camellia. You're making the whole family look foolish, and I have no idea what game you're playing. Here are the Garretts. Here are the partners from your father's firm. Except for you, everyone is present. That sold sign, give me a call right away. How could you do this to me on my special day? Delaney then sobbed. Although I understood your jealousy, this is plain rude. My father then said, icily, you've made your point. Now make this right. Right away. I returned my attention to the security feed. The street was overflowing with people. The performance had been joined by neighbors. Every angle of the sign was being photographed. In real time, my mother's flawless exterior was coming apart. Should we go? Harper inquired. Before they figure out where you are. Not yet. I clicked on my email and started typing. To Delaney, Mom, and Dad. You've probably come to the realization that the house is no longer accessible for your wedding, party, or any other events you planned without consulting me. Today, the new owners move in. They make a sweet couple, they are considerate and respectful. Before making any alterations to the house, they inquired. Consider that. Every illegal entry that has occurred in the last 2 weeks has been recorded by me. Each time you unapprovedly utilize the emergency key. All of the improvements you made without my permission. Every message gaslights my worries and ignores my boundaries. To be clear about who owned the property and who had the legal authority to make choices about it, I forwarded copies to the family lawyer. Think of this as my final contribution to the family image you have so diligently labored to uphold. You requested to stay at my residence. Everyone can now see the precise outcome of that. Try not to get in touch with me. You won't think to look where I've moved. Somewhere that doesn't have adequate space for your social goals. Delaney, congrats on your engagement. You'll undoubtedly locate another location that satisfies your requirements, Sloan. After pressing send, I glanced up at Harper. Now we can go. My phone flashed up one last time as we got up to go. Maddox texted. I saw the scene at your previous location. Are you all right? I typed. Better than okay. Actually, want to grab dinner? Harper's eyebrow went up. The real estate broker? Really? Observing the mayhem on the security stream, I shrugged. What am I supposed to say? I'm prepared for a change. Something tangible. Speaking of real, Harper said. Your mother just posted a statement claiming the party was postponed due to unexpected renovations. I chuckled. Well, she is correct. Many improvements are planned by the new owners. I'll start by repainting my living room the terrible color she chose. As he pushed his phone across the table, Maddox remarked. The video has already received 50,000 views. We were dining at a tiny Italian restaurant that was rather distant from the places my family usually frequents. Someone leaked the footage of your mom trying all the doors. I answered, wasn't me. But I couldn't help but smile. Though I may have shared it with a few choice people who had their own scores to settle with the Delgado social machine. Brutal. He added more wine. Any regrets? My phone buzzed once more before I could respond. Delaney left another voicemail. The wedding was postponed by the Garretts. Are you content now? Everything has been damaged by you. Mom is a complete disaster. Dad is enraged. Additionally, I despise you. I genuinely despise you. I turned the phone to the face side. That's the fourth message today. Want to talk about it? Not really. I sipped my wine slowly. Though I did see Mother Dearest posted a lengthy Facebook rant about toxic individualism and the breakdown of family values in modern society. Subtle. Oh, it gets better. I retrieved the post. Apparently, I'm clearly suffering from unresolved emotional issues, and they're praying for my healing journey. Maddox flinched. They're really doubling down, huh? They do it. They are always correct. Simply put, I'm unstable. Challenging. Not grateful. I made a jab at my pasta. What's the worst about it? When I first saw that post, I honestly had some self-doubt. Perhaps I am the issue. Perhaps I overreacted. Maddox's hand covered mine as he stretched across the table. They regularly broke into your house without your consent, then made an attempt to deceive you about it. It's not an overreaction. That's the definition of limits. My phone came back to life. This time from the attorney for my father. Miss Delgado, your parents have instructed me to inform you that unless you make a public statement taking responsibility for the party incident, you will be removed from all family accounts and trusts. I presented the message to Maddox. Joke has them. Years ago, I deleted myself from their accounts. Simply put, they never bothered to inquire. Smart. It had to be. Like a leash, they used money. There were conditions attached to every gift. In reality, every family decision was simply their choice, which I had to accept or risk being called ungrateful. Once more my phone buzzed. Harper texted. You're trending, girl. The video became viral on the subreddit for affluent people drama. In the comments section, Team Sloan is winning. A screenshot of the top remark was attached. Imagine assuming you can have a party in someone's entire house without their consent, and then pretending surprised when it doesn't work out. Wealthy folks are crazy. Maddox reclined. You know, in all my years selling houses, I've never seen someone use a property sale as revenge. He smiled. Usually it's just divorces and downsizing. It wasn't just revenge, I said. It was liberation. Every time they invaded my space, dismissed my choices, used my home like it was theirs, they were really saying, you don't matter. I looked him in the eyes. Now they know I do. It was the last time my phone lit up. My mother sent me one last text. You are no longer a member of this family since you insist on acting like a child. If you're not prepared to apologize and put things right, don't get in touch with us. I looked at the message for a long time, experiencing a strange mixture of calm and agony. You okay? Maddox inquired quietly. Actually, yes. I glanced up at him. For years they have threatened to cut me off. It was their greatest weapon whenever I disobeyed their regulations. However, now, I chuckled. They've done it at last. I also feel liberated. saying, "To new beginnings." He lifted his glass. "Speaking of which, I retrieved a few pictures from my phone. Regarding that fixer-upper you showed me, what are your thoughts? The one with the awful wallpaper and the enormous bones. The Victorian?" He grinned. "Always available. It needs some work, but I have a feeling you'd know just what to do with it. Show me tomorrow." He hesitated. "I mean, if this is a date, I probably shouldn't mix business and pleasure." I grabbed his hand from the other side of the table. "This is definitely a date." It was the final buzzing of my phone. A stranger's direct message. "I came across your tale online. For years, my family mistreated me in the same way. I appreciate you letting me know that saying no is acceptable." I grinned as I considered the Victorian home that was just waiting to be renovated. Concerning Maddox's hand in mine. Regarding all the opportunities that arise when you eventually close the appropriate doors. Do you remember what I told Maddox? I think I'm ready to start looking forward instead of back. And I truly meant it for the first time in years. This wallpaper is a crime against humanity, I declared as I stood in the room that would soon become my new living area. In fact, the Victorian home Maddox had shown me was even more impressive, with its original hardwood floors, towering ceilings, and yes, horrifying wallpaper. Maddox agreed and opened the drapes to let in more light. "The previous owners had interesting taste," he said. "But you see the potential, right?" "I see everything." As soon as I entered the room, I had plans to remove the wallpaper, repair the original moldings, and open the wall that led to the dining area. I smiled as I turned to face him. "It's perfect." It buzzed on my phone. A stranger who had seen my tale online sent me another message saying, "You gave me the courage to confront my poisonous family at last. Thank you." Since the video went viral, the messages continued. I was reminded by each of the reasons behind my actions. Why it was important in more than simply my personal circumstances. "Speaking of your viral fame," Maddox responded, "have you seen the latest society page?" He displayed an article. The Garrett Delgado wedding was moved to a hip barn. Following initial venue issues, the most attractive couple in society adopts rustic chic. Rustic chic. I chuckled. "That must be killing my mother." He said, "There's more," as he scrolled. Sources say the bride's sister, noted interior designer Sloan, will not be attending due to creative differences over the venue styling. Differences in creativity. Is that the name we're using now? Harper texted. Your sister just shared a Pinterest page with burlap and mason jars. Karma is real. I strolled over to the bay window and gazed out at the street lined with trees. The city views from my former residence were so different, yet somehow more authentic. More of me. You know what the funny thing is? I told Maddox. They're all behaving as though I betrayed them. However, I stole something without asking and gave them exactly what they gave me. The sole distinction is that I never feigned love. Maddox took my hand and moved closer. The sellers accepted your offer. Really? Indeed. After we sign the paperwork, the house will be yours. I looked around at my future house as I squeezed his hand. Despite all of its shortcomings, possibilities, and flawless faults. My phone rang. An unidentified number. I nearly disregarded it, but I had to respond for some reason. Hello. Sloan. It was Roman, my sister's fiancé. I needed to say something, even though I know I shouldn't be calling. I waited. Silently, you were right, he said. Almost everything. The way they simply took you, the way they treated you. Observing it, I remained silent. I apologize. Why are you telling me this now? Because they are also doing it to us. The location changes, the wedding, and the ongoing supervision. He hesitated. Delaney doesn't see it yet, but you showed courage by leaving. To make your own decision. It wasn't brave, I expressed. It was necessary. Maddox gave me a curious look as we hung up. Maybe some bridges aren't meant to stay burned, I replied. However, they do require a separate rebuild. On stronger ground. Once more, my phone buzzed. My security app sent me a notification. My former home was visited by someone. My mother was standing on the porch, staring at the door that she was unable to open when I pulled up the feed. Somehow she appeared smaller. Not so sure. I briefly experienced a glimmer of, well, not regret. Perhaps recognition. Of the woman who demonstrated for me what I didn't want to become in order to teach me how to be strong. Maddox brought me back to the present by asking, ready to start planning the renovations? I took in the terrible wallpaper, the old fixtures, and everything that needed to be changed, not into a focal point this time. Into a house. My house. Actually, I replied, I believe I would like to record this renovation. Post the entire procedure online. Demonstrate to others what it looks like to rebuild your property. Truly yours. I like it, he said brightly. From viral retaliation to influencer and home remodeling. A significant change. Well, I laughed. My mother always said I needed to work on my image. I took my phone out and pressed the camera button. This wallpaper will be our first choice. I'm considering naming the show Reclaiming Space. Standing in what would become my living room, I aimed the camera at myself and began to film. Hello everyone. Do you recall the widely shared video of the disastrous engagement party? Alright, welcome to my next phase. This is not the place for flawless facades. Only actual walls. Actual labor. As well as actual growth. Who's ready to renovate? With both of us mirrored on the phone screen, Maddox put his arms around me from behind. Not flawless. Not well-polished. Authentically ourselves, of course. And no exhibition could ever compare to that. And that's how Sloan turned betrayal into breakthrough. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't loud, it's quiet strength, self-respect, and a life rebuilt on your own terms. If you're carrying hurt, remember, you don't have to match the chaos. Set boundaries. Choose growth. Let go with grace. Healing takes time, but peace is worth it. Have you ever had to walk away from someone who crossed the line? Or turn pain into purpose? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you reclaimed your power. Because in the end, who really wins? The one who moves on.